Transparent pricing is the secret to more painful clients, period. 2025, 2024, 2023, and then looking ahead, not just backwards at what I have set in my business for myself and my clients. We owe our success to many different things that I set up for myself and my clients, but one of those things is the transparent pricing that we put in the funnel. And I'm going to go into why this is a key piece to have in your business if you don't already. But if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm Esther. I'm the founder of Cottonelle. And if you want to learn anything more or would like to learn more about my agency, you can click the links in the description below. But transparent pricing was a huge game changer in my business. It actually drove more book calls, more qualified calls, and more revenue in my business than not having it in my funnel. And when I first started in my business a couple of years ago, like everyone, I signed up for a lot of different masterminds and high ticket programs to learn all the different ways of online sales. Because to that point, I had only worked inside of Fortune 500 corporations where I was sitting in rooms, where hundreds of millions of dollars were getting discussed. And so that dynamic was very intriguing to me, but I also knew that there was something that was probably slightly different to selling in the room versus selling online. So I learned all of the different strategies. Most, if not all, I ended up tossing out. I actually created my own. And if you want to learn about that, again, linked in the description below. But the one thing that I was always told was that you should always do everything possible in a funnel for a high ticket offer to get somebody on the call. Like, just get them on the call. Get them on the call, have a sales conversation, have a sales script, have a way to get them from no to yes, have a way to move them through, and just basically show up and have a really aggressive sales strategy to move them into becoming a client. And I never liked that because I had already experienced that not happening with, a lot of money passing between hands, between corporations. So I already knew that that wasn't a requirement. So when I heard people telling me that I needed to do this, I was very skeptical. And so I tested it. And like so many of my clients, that come before they become clients, 30 calls with one sale, if I was lucky, right? Like 30 sales calls, but only one became a client. I heard I can't afford it. I had a lot of really awkward sales conversations. It was just, I did not enjoy the dynamic. So I decided that, transparent pricing needed to be in play because with Fortune 500 corporations, you know the price before you go and sit in that room. You've talked to people, you know what the market average is, you know what like the fees are and all of that. So there's no shock, right? So that conversation in those Fortune 500 rooms, it was never about the fee. Yes, the fee was important, especially if somebody else were to come in and give you like a much lower rate, right? Which did happen sometimes. But statistically, it was not about the fee. It was about the experience. What was the benefit to them to move their money from this firm to this firm, right? Those were the conversations. And so having that, I knew that while the fee was important, it wasn't the piece that was going to sell. And all of those clients knew the fees before they came into the sales room. So I decided that that really needed to shift in funnels, right? So everyone again online told me, don't put your full pricing in there. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of showing up to calls with a very, very diverse range of individuals. So I put the full price of my offer. At the time, it was $7,000. And I put in there, this is the price of my offer. Please check the box to attest. And as soon as I added that pricing, my book calls skyrocketed, and they were skyrocketed with people who already knew the price and were actually ready to invest. So it actually increased potential client who was coming in the call. They were more qualified now. So it ended up bringing in a much higher end potential client as opposed to the others who were just curious. And it's a really important distinction because this also helps me and my clients with high show-up rates, high close rates. So everything tied into this transparent pricing. And so if you don't have this in your business, you cannot just go and put transparent pricing in your funnel as it is now. It's probably going to break it. The reason that I set this up for my clients the same way is because every piece that I design for them is strategically built from the ad to the opt-in page to the video sales letter. So by the time they get to that apply page and see the price, they're already sold. So if you want to try and do this on your own, by all means, but you need to look at all the pieces before they get to that apply page so that you don't mess your own funnel up. But regardless, you can work with my agency. We can set all this up for you. Or if you want to do it yourself, again, go and test and optimize and tweak and refine. But the reason that high ticket clients truly want to know the price is because a high ticket client, a premium client, the client that you want to work with that is going to pay you $20,000 for your offer, money is not an objection. And this client, they're busy. If they have $20,000 to invest with you, they are making decent money, and whether they're employed or whether they are running their own business, it doesn't matter. If they have the money to invest with you, they're very busy, they're time strapped. So when you think about that, what does that mean? That means that a premium client, they think very differently. then somebody is going to buy a $47 offer. They come through, they want to see what your ad is. They're going to watch your ad a couple of times. They're going to make it to that opt-in page a couple of times. They're finally going to convert and then come through that opt-in page. They're going to watch your VSL maybe once, maybe twice, and then they're going to book a call. When they book that call, though, you're now saving them that question of how much does this cost? You're just putting it right there. Because, again, if it's done strategically like we do, they already have been sold. They already know that this is what they want. And so when they see that price, they can afford it. It's not a sticker shock by any means, but they actually appreciate the fact that you put it in there. Because now, if let's say it was $20,000, but maybe they thought this was like a $40,000 offer and that was going to stretch their budget, but $20,000, oh, that seems really inexpensive. Now they're happy to pay that because they thought it was going to be so much more. So when you think about transparent pricing and speaking to premium clients, there is a big difference between how you sell to somebody who's going to pay high ticket versus how you sell to somebody who's going to pay low ticket. And the other thing too, and I hear this as well from potential clients or even clients before they come to work with us, is, well, what if I put transparent pricing and then somebody doesn't move forward and book a call? I say that's a good thing because the reality is nothing, well, for me personally, and most of my clients are the same, we aren't here to aggressively push somebody into something on a sales call that they cannot afford. So if they're making it to that apply page and they're seeing the price and they're saying they cannot afford this, I would so much rather that they back out at that point than to book a call, have something that they really want, and then they can't afford it. Or have something that maybe they don't want, and then I have to hear, oh, I can't afford it. So that pricing transparency, yes, you may have a lower booked call percentage than you would if you didn't, but it opens the door to now speaking only with qualified people. You aren't in this exhausting showing up to sales calls, getting burnt out, wondering if you're going to hear yes, wondering if you're going to hear no. You now know that every single person you're getting on a call with knows your price before they book the call. And that's huge. And this is exactly why these funnels convert so well, because I understand the psychology of premium buyers inside and out. And I know exactly what they want before they're going to book that call. And I know why putting transparent pricing is actually an incentive for them and why it's something that will actually push them to actually book the call even more than not having it.